What if I told you that someone found a map, drawn way back in 1995, that perfectly describes the world you're living in right now? It sounds wild, right? Well, today, we're basically opening up a time capsule. It's a book called Being Digital, and it laid out the blueprint for our modern lives with an accuracy that is, frankly, a little eerie. Let's dig in and see how we did it.
Okay, first I want you to do something. Try to remember a time, or if you're younger, just try to imagine it, a time before you could just pull out your phone and instantly get any song, any movie, any fact. Before your phone was kind of the center of your entire universe. It feels like a different planet, doesn't it?
Well, back on that different planet, in 1995, the founder of the MIT Media Lab, a guy named Nicholas Negroponte, published this book, Being Digital. And listen, it wasn't just another book about tech. It was a prophecy, a stunningly clear vision of the world we are all living in right now.
Now, to really get how radical this book was, we have to rewind. We have to understand the world it was born into. This was a time that was just buzzing with excitement, and honestly, a lot of confusion about this huge wave of technology that felt both totally mysterious and completely inevitable.
Back then, these were the hot new words. Terms like information superhighway and CD-ROM were all over the place, on magazine covers, on the news. They were promising this incredible future that would change everything, even if nobody was 100% sure exactly how. So, in the middle of all that noise, Negroponte comes along and cuts right through it with one brilliant, simple idea. It's a single metaphor that, I swear, explains the entire digital revolution. And that idea? It's the difference between atoms and bits.
Okay, so here's the concept. It's simple, but it is so profound. The old world, that ran on atoms. Physical things, a book, a CD, a VHS tape. Those are all just collections of atoms. They've got weight, it costs money to move them around, and it's slow. The new world, he said, would run on bits. Weightless digital information that moves at the speed of light for basically no cost at all.
And this quote just captures how absurd the old thinking was. He was at a conference about protecting American technology, the valuable bits. And what were they serving? Water. In heavy glass bottles, physical atoms shipped all the way from France. It was perfect. The world was totally obsessed with moving atoms around, while all the real value is shifting over to these weightless bits.
He tells this great story to make it even clearer. He walks into a company, and they ask him, hey, what's your laptop worth? The physical object itself, right? The plastic and metal and silicon, the atoms, it was worth about $2,000.
But then he hits them with the real question. What about the information on the laptop? The bits. He figured that was worth over $2 million. And right there, that's the massive shift. The container, the physical thing, was becoming almost worthless. But the content inside, the bits, that was becoming priceless.
So what in the world is a bit? Really, just think of it like the DNA of all information. It's the simplest state you can have, on or off, a 1 or a 0. And from those tiny, simple building blocks, everything, every song you stream, every photo you post, every word you're reading on a screen, it's all built from that. Okay, so this huge shift to bits, it was more than just a new way to listen to music. A world that's made of bits plays by a completely different set of rules. And these new rules are all defined by explosive, exponential growth. Our brains we're not wired for this kind of growth. This classic example shows you why. A penny that doubles every day? It feels like nothing at first. But then, in those last few days, it just explodes into millions. What Negroponte was saying is that we were living in those last few days of the digital explosion, and the change was about to get really, really big. And just look at the sheer scale of this thing. The agricultural revolution, it made us about 100 times more efficient. The industrial revolution, maybe 1,000 times. But information technology, we're talking a multiplying factor in the trillions. It's a revolution on a scale that humanity has literally never seen before. So when everything, sound, video, text, is made of the exact same stuff, bits, two incredible things can happen. First, you can mix them all together super easily. We call that multimedia. And second, you can have bits that are about other bits, data that describes the content. And that is the secret key that unlocks personalization.
So because Negroponte really understood these new rules of the digital world, he was able to make some predictions that are so accurate, it's honestly a little spooky. He basically described a device that's sitting in the palm of your hand right now.
He had this cool idea he called the Negroponte switch.
First part, he predicted that media that uses the airwaves, which is a scarce resource, like old broadcast TV, that would move to land-based cables, where you have tons of bandwidth. Think about it, your old TV antenna being replaced by your fiber optic internet connection that you use for streaming. That's it. But the other side of the switch was even crazier. He said that communication that was tied to the ground with wires, like your old home phone, was going to take to the air. It will become mobile, freeing us up to talk to anyone from anywhere. He was literally describing your smartphone. In 1995.
But you know what? Maybe his most important prediction was about power. See, in the old world of atoms, the intelligence was at the transmitter. A TV network decided what everyone was going to watch. In the new world of bits, he saw that the intelligence was going to move to the receiver, to your device. Your phone, your computer, it would be smart enough to filter and sort and personalize content just for you. The power shifted from them to us.
And that really brings us to the legacy of this whole thing. Negroponte got that the shift from atoms to bits, it wasn't just some tech forecast. He saw that it would completely change how we work, how we play, how we learn, how we live. He saw that it was going to reshape society itself.
And this quote right here it says everything. Over a quarter century ago, he saw that computers would basically disappear from our desks and just dissolve into the very fabric of our lives. Being digital, he said, well, it's really just about living.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. The simple, powerful idea of atoms versus bits helped one guy back in 1995 see our world with incredible clarity. So if we use that same kind of thinking, what's the next big shift? What's the atom of today that's about to be replaced by the bit of tomorrow?